Hello and welcome to another great show. My name is Dr. Njideka Kelley. Today I have African women entrepreneurs and business owners. We're here to talk about a very serious topic today. This is the African Dinner Table. As you know, we bring you issues that affect us in Africa. We bring you issues that affect us as Black Americans here, African Americans here. We talk to business owners. We bring you all the things that affect us, and we find a common solution. Today's topic is saying no to rape. It's really important that you join us and that you listen and that you help us to make sure that the perpetrators of rape in Nigeria, that they are brought to book and that they are taken to the highest court of the land. In today's show, we have a High Court judge from Rivers State, we have the Deputy Governor of Rivers State in Nigeria, and we also have the First Lady to talk about this ill that has affected the society. I'm calling it a pandemic because it is a pandemic. Just recently, a 4-year-old was raped in one of the cities in Nigeria. It is shameful, it is disgraceful, it is evil, it is a crime. These are the sorts of things that we bring to you, and we need your help to continue to have this discussions. You can send us a token, whatever that you can, so that we can continue to bring these sorts of topics to you. So stay tuned today. Just watch. I'm going into the show right now. We need your input. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe. You know what to do. Enjoy. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Njideka Kelley, and I am here from Houston, Texas. And that's why I'm going to say good morning to all of you, but I know where you are, it's probably evening. So I promise we're going to have a very robust session because this topic is absolutely important. We are supposed to have Her Excellencies, I don't know if they're here, the Deputy Governor of Rivers State.
We're not playing that we're playing that so much that you can't really.
Okay, not everyone is muted. Some people are still on.
Yeah, Rita, please, can you mute? Hello, Rita, please, can you mute the microphone?
Everyone, please mute yourself.
Rita, please, can you mute? How are you? Mary, please mute your microphone. Mary, please.
Okay, good. All right, so this topic, like I said, is just absolutely important. We're talking here about saying no to rape. Rape in itself is a pandemic, isn't it? And from what I gather, for the past 2 to 3 years, it's just been absolutely ridiculous in Nigeria, but more so because the perpetrators go about scot-free. So this session is really about talking about those sorts of social evils that ail the society and to find out what the government is doing about this pandemic, because that's really what it is. Any attack on a woman, a girl, especially a girl child, is just not nice. In fact, it is terrible. And the society must rise up to do something about it. This is why we're talking about this topic. Many of you know, I think it was in 2019, was it even this year, when a 4-year-old was recklessly and terribly, terribly damaged, because that's really what it is. It's a scar. It's a scar that never goes away. And then to talk about a child, unbelievable. This is why we're talking about this topic. And with us today are all of you females, all of you women business owners, entrepreneurs, women in the social workforce, lawyers, ambassadors, all of you who have something to do with making sure that nothing of this kind happens again in our society. This is why we're having this topic. And this is why the president and the members of AWEBO, African Women Entrepreneurs and Business Owners, are hosting this on this platform. So we're going to have a chance for everyone to speak. We have some questions lined up. And I will ask that if anyone wants to speak, you unmute yourself. You can raise your hand, unmute yourself. We should be able to see and hear you while we talk about this. The executive director, Minu Akadiri, has shared a document which you can upload and save it in your files. But this session will be recorded and edited and then sent to each of you. So I will ask in the chat that you perhaps write down your phone numbers or your email addresses, or have the president, Ms. Jovita, coordinate all of that so that I can send you the video of the recording. Okay, so again, welcome. Welcome to all of you from wherever you are dialing in from. I see some of you are from UK, Nigeria, America. Wherever you are, welcome, welcome. And let's begin. So, Ms. Jovita.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Let me just ask the first question to you. I'll just throw it open to you to tell us why you have decided to coordinate this session. What is the reason behind it? Is it something that has happened or otherwise, something that has made you want to talk about it?
Excuse me, please. Hold on 1 minute. Somebody is not muted. Mr. Tony, please, can you mute? And Mr. Please, everybody should mute so that we can get Caroline, Consilia. Please, everybody should mute. That's the only way we can, hear ourselves and, get it done faster, and everybody will enjoy it and hear everybody. Please, everybody should mute.
Yes.
Yeah, dear Ambassador, can you repeat your question?
Okay, I'm saying to you, as the AWEBO president, what motivated you to come about this platform? Is this something that is personal to you? Is it something that has just become astronomical in terms of events happening, these sorts of things? Why did you decide on this topic?
Yes, it became so rampant, and it became an everyday and every hour news. As a matter of fact, the one that made me very angry, I have to say that, is that I listened to news about a 38-year-old man that raped a 3-year-old girl. They filed a 3-year-old girl, and he was making excuses that the little girl was wearing a bomb shorts. I was like, what is this? A little girl, even if she was naked. That is what, in Africa, that's what it used to be. And the thing got me so angry. And that week alone, there were about 3-4 different reports, not just rape of minors. And that was even before the COVID. And during the COVID, it was something else. Every minute, everywhere you open, There are lots of cases, old women, even women in all over the world. It became, you were right when you said it's a pandemic. And coming down to Nigeria, coming down to the states where we are, I didn't want to keep quiet anymore. And AWEBO, being Association of Women Entrepreneurs and Business Owners, being partners of United Nations Women, and they've been there. The pandemic caused so much and violence against women. So it became part of our activities, you know, to put heads together as women and men of virtue to, you know how to go about this. Every professional woman or man, this is not just a woman or women match. It's a men and women. So that we will, you know, find out why. As a sociologist, when a problem comes out like this, we don't just run and start solving it. We get to the root cause of it. So I want us to, you know, put heads together to know why, and know why rape has been there, but it has never been. The surge has become so badly everywhere that I was disturbed. And I called the people, all the people here that I know that of substance, that has solved even worse problems and made it, you know, come to light for everybody to come up. We have somebody like Chief Mrs. Alaba Lawson here. She's an enigma and a trailblazer of engineering, whatever that concerns women and children and girls. And she has done a lot already, even up to the government, federal government. So it's a pleasure that we have her here. So I want each and every one of us to look at it as something. That's why I didn't want to give anybody a topic. There was just talk from, and I'm sure each and every one of us here has one or two specific cases of rape. Either have seen it, have witnessed it, or in any way, or have had it. So I want everyone to talk from your heart. That we want that emotions to run so that we'll have a communique of how we are going to solve this problem, stop it in any way each and every one of us can help, and kill this evil. That is why we are here today. I'm hosting, and I called and organized for this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jovita. That is just wonderful. And I hope that it wouldn't just end here, because it's not just about talking about it, it's about doing something about it so that these perpetrators can be brought to book. That's exactly why we're doing this. So I'm going to throw out a question. I don't think the deputy governor of Rivers State is here. Is she here?
Yeah, but she's not here in person for now because they're in a meeting, but her representative is here. Uki, please, can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
Yes, Uki, please, can you wave your hand? Okay.
Okay, good. So this question is for her. So
hold on, ma. And the representative of, okay, go ahead. Because we are still waiting for the First Lady of Rivers State.
Okay, good.
Yeah, as soon as she joins, I will let you know. Yeah.
Okay. So the question that I have for her is, how can we put an end to rape, sexual harassment, molestation, victimization, so that these things do not show up in the workplace, in the universities, or anywhere at all? As you know, a lot of women, especially in the workplaces, are faced with sexual harassment. That is how it begins in some places. So the men who have there's a power tussle with the men being the bosses, and then this woman finds herself in the workplace having to deal with sexual harassment. As the deputy governor of Rivers State, thank God that you are female. How have you worked on this sort of problem to ensure that it never, ever, ever rears its ugly head in workplaces, and especially in the universities?
Okay.
Please, yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So yes, as Jovita must have and should just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Uki Asemuka, and I'm the Special Assistant to Her Excellency on Research and Social Media. And Her Excellency asked me to convey her greetings to everyone. She was not able to make it today because of other engagements. But this issue of abuse and rape is something that is actually topmost on her list. As in when she came in 2015, she actually set up a committee to speak with women and men and all those who are already in the women and girls space, right? She brought them all together to hear what exactly were the issues that are going on and how, as the first female deputy governor of River State, how can she have an impact? How can a change occur? And through that meeting, we found out that there were a lot of salient issues, there were a lot of disjointed parts that needed to be fixed. And from that, broke up, and she actually set up her own initiative called Protect the Girl Child Initiative. And the initiative is all about protecting the girl child and the women in general, because to protect a child today, a girl child today, actually protecting the woman of tomorrow. So that came to play. From the question I'm talking about, what exactly has the deputy governor, or rather, what exactly has the state government put in place? I would say a lot. Before 2015, before we came in, those of you in River State would have remembered that the courts were shut down. Lots of things were not happening in the legislature at all. Judiciary was basically non-existent because of the lockdown. But since they've come in, they've done a lot of things have been done. The governor himself, being a lawyer, has ensured that the legislative arm of government have gotten a lot of support. So much so that now, I think River State, we actually do have a family court, which was inaugurated sometime last year or the year before. I think because of COVID issues, they've not been able to start up. And a lot of the acts to ensure that the perpetrators of the crime has actually also been put in place. Like I know that we have the Child Rights Act, which has been domiciled in the state. We have the Violence Against Women and Women and Children's Act also, which has been domiciled in the state. So basically, when it comes to law, there's a lot of law, the law is there. But I think the issue would be that a lot of people don't understand that the laws are there, and then the enforcement of the law is another issue. I know that one of the speakers is the Honorable herself, is one of the justices of the state. All the saying that apart from it being an endemic issue that is actually deeper than what we see, especially now when we understand that I heard you clearly when you were saying that with the issue of the pandemic, it seems as though there are more issues of rape and violations and all that. And it's true, because now a lot of people were now more secluded, they were more together, they're not doing anything, they're not going out. So a lot of people did not know how to deal with, maybe repressed sexual urges or whatever, and they went crazy. So basically, I think it comes back to the issue of foundation. Her Excellency keeps talking and telling, anytime she talks to women, she keeps telling women, you need to understand that you are the building blocks of your home. You are the foundation of your home, of your family, and of the community. A woman raises a child and her family, right? So it comes back, Her Excellency always tells women, see, you need to make sure that you are vigilant. You need to make sure that you're teaching your children. A lot of, maybe before this COVID-19 time, a lot of people have time for their families. A lot of people are very busy. Not that they have time, but they are busy doing other things. But it is time where mothers have to be more attentive, and you also need to teach your children. Because the truth is, if you look at it, it's not this issue is just something that's happened today. If we go back, if we ask our parents, I'm sure most of them will tell you that, people have but a lot of times they were silent. So, but now a lot of women are beginning to speak up. So yes, we need to also give and equip our daughters with ensuring that as young as they are, 2, 1.5, begin to teach them about their body parts. Tell them if their parts, nobody can touch you, and if anybody touches you, report to mommy. Do you understand? So I know that Her Excellency is also always talking to civil bodies to ensure that the women, churches, mosques, talk to your women, even the women, your own organization. You need to also enforce. You need to also talk. There's nothing wrong about if there's an issue, they should speak out. Like for example, when Protect the Girl Child Initiative in 2018, we went to one of the Unity schools, and when we went there, we found a young girl who had been sexually assaulted by her uncle from when she was 8. This girl, by the time she spoke up, she was 18. From the time she was 8, living with her uncle, her auntie's husband had been sleeping with her from when she was 8 years old. She was 18. But because we took the sex and sex abuse campaign to schools, and we were telling them, see, you have a right to speak up. You have a right to your body. You have a right to tell somebody that if anybody is abusing you, you have a right to speak up. And she came and she came and told us that this is what has been going on since she was 8 years old. So for the past 10 years, this girl had been suffering that in her home. So what did we do? Because we have good relationship and partnerships with other organizations that are into this sort of thing, we're able to reach out to Medecins Sans Frontieres. And through, coming together, we're able to take her out of that premises where she was living, took her to a safe place, and ensured that prosecution was carried out against this person. Although, sadly, before the court could meet and everything, this person in question, the perpetrator of the crime in question, actually died.
Okay.
But the process had begun.
Okay.
So, we need to ensure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. But you said two things that I want to comment on, and then I'm going to give opportunity to anyone who wants to also comment. You mentioned something about the mothers. It's interesting that you say that, because I've heard men actually say, where are the mothers? When a child is raped, the perspective of a man is, where is the mother? I mean, is that to say that the mothers are to blame for their children that are raped? That's one. And then secondly, you also said something that leads me to ask the question of victim shaming. Victim shaming, where a victim is actually ashamed to come out or go to the police because of cultural effects and cultural barriers. So those, just on those two things, if anyone wants to reply, just raise your hand and unmute yourself, please.
Okay. Should I answer or should we wait for
No,
the others?
let's hear somebody else, and then you come in and just add to that. Who is there anyone in the audience that will want to answer that? Is it the woman's fault when a child is raped? Is there anyone who wants to take that up? Okay, I had Juliet. Juliet had raised her hand. Are you still there? Okay. All right. Does anyone want to talk? Yes, Angela, unmute. Okay, good. Unmute yourself, Angela. Good.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, I want to respond to that. And the responsibility of raising a child, be it a girl child or a boy child, lies on the shoulders of both parents. These days, we have working mothers who work either in offices or they are entrepreneurs. And they are not just homemakers, they are also, they have dependents, and they provide for the entire family. So if we now want to put the blame on the mother, do we disassociate the fathers from their responsibilities? The protection of a girl child, it's not only a girl child that is being, harassed or raped these days, even children. And that is the more reason why the more reason why we should, as mothers, I believe Uki's called mothers because mothers have this connection, special connection with their children, you know, and I believe that our inability to be, the relationship between between mothers and children these days are somewhat strained as a result of financial constraints. Mothers are out there making money, fathers as well as fathers. But in this case, we shouldn't, as mothers, we shouldn't put our responsibility, the responsibility of being a homemaker and the protector of our girl daughters, we shouldn't trade it for money. I believe that's why Uki called on mothers. It's because these days we have, to an extent, failed in our responsibilities to teach our girl daughters how to defend themselves and how to dress properly, modestly. Though it's not an excuse for the cronies that harass these children. It's not an excuse to exonerate them from the crime committed against children. But in this case, we mothers should sit tight, watch, guard, and guide our children emotionally, and as well as know when they are in pain. Because I have a case at hand. How did I get to know? It was because the child became a recluse under my very nose. You know, I watched her reclined. She went back into her shield. You know, she was emotionally low, depressed. It was a close observation that I had to call her and said, is there anything you need to tell me? And it took quite a long time before she could open up. Okay, I think it's, thank God for, well, this pandemic, we look at it as something very, very, it's a kind of, has brought a bond that we never had. Mothers spent quite a long time with their daughters this time. I think that helped me because my daughters are all in boarding schools. But at this time, if we mothers, whether the children are in boarding homes or they are at home, we could monitor our children, have a bond, create a bond. We've lost family ties. Create a bond between us and our children. It will help in a very long way to enable these children to open up to us whenever they are being harassed, either by teachers, by uncles, by our mates, or whoever is responsible for this. So Uki, I don't know if exonerating the men, asking them not to be part of this fight against rape.
No, I never said we were exonerating the men. I was just saying that it is important because women are the foundation and the building blocks of the home. So it's important that they are the ones who take the forefront when talking about abuse, and especially dealing, ensuring that they have good relationship with their children, with their children, both their daughters and their sons. But when it comes to this, we have men who are supporting. As I said, with regards to the Protect Girl Child initiative, we have a lot of our partner agencies. They are also men. You understand? Doctors Without Borders, they have a lot of men there. The police force, they have a lot of men. And a lot of the civil societies that are partnering with us to spread the information and this news of violence and abuse in the community, especially the local government areas and the deep communities in the state. They are men. So the example I was talking about, the young girl that I told you about, it happened my very before. I was the person who actually went to the police station to speak on her behalf and everything. And the DPO who was there was like, Madam, see, sorry to tell you this, but the truth is, the families, when they come, they are very quick to actually settle out of police. Do you understand? Because that is what we see every day. If people want us to go ahead, fine. I was like, yes, Excellency is behind this 100%. But saying that when the family of this girl came, they actually wanted to take this case out. They didn't want it to go to court. Why? Because they don't want the girl, they don't want the family issue.
Stigma.
So nobody should
Yes.
talk.
Yes.
The stigmatization we're talking about is part of it. But we're like, see, we cannot all keep talking about stigmatization. This girl, though it started when she was 8 years old, she's now an adult, she's 18. So she can consent, and she said she wanted to go ahead. She wanted to ensure that the case was prosecuted.
But hold that thought, Uki. Let me get Rosemary Kalu's perspective. Rosemary, unmute yourself. You have your hand raised.
Yes, hello everybody. Angela, I absolutely agree with you what you said. And you said something about how teaching the girl child how to defend herself. And it just occurred to me that we are paying a lot of attention here to the girl child. What about the male child who's going to grow up to be a man tomorrow? We as parents, I believe, have the responsibility to mold our male children so that tomorrow they will not become the rapist. Because that's where it starts from. So parenting, I think we need to look at that aspect, training the boy as well, so that he's not that way inclined to, I believe it starts from the beginning. I can't help myself, but I must go back to the Bible and we look at Proverbs 31. When we talk about Proverbs 31, immediately we think of, oh, the virtuous woman. But the first 9 verses talk about what the king's mother said to him. She trained him to be a king. So we should be careful as mothers to train our sons to have to be kings in their minds, so that they don't at any point in time, because there's a lockdown and you don't have anything to do. Therefore, you see a 3-year-old girl and you think, oh, it's okay to rape her. But if you have a mentality of a king, that should not occur to you. So that is just what I wanted to drop in before I forget, that we shouldn't major only on the girl child. Let's also look at our male children and see how we can stop it before it gets to that point.
Thank you, Rosemary. Yes, I do appreciate all of you, Uki, Angela, Rosemary. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right that the onus lies on the mother, who needs to observe. Just like Angela said, if she did not observe the child that she mentioned who had gone into her shell, she wouldn't know that something was wrong. But let's hear from Esther. Esther just raised her hand. Esther, unmute yourself and speak, please. Esther? Is she there?
Hope you can hear me.
Yes, Esther, go ahead.
You can hear me. Okay, good evening, everyone. Well, Esther, that's my first name. Anyway, my name is Esther. You must have heard me before if you are regularly of Wazobia FM called Hackers.
Okay.
So let me quickly go straight to the point. I think one other thing that we can help with you to help matter is for parents, especially mothers, to bring to our girl child. I realize that so many parents, a good number of parents in this part of the world, we are just mothers to our daughters. The relationship that exists between us is just a mother and it's supposed to go far beyond that. You are supposed to be the best of your children, this is a girl child. But it takes someone that is a friend, that can relate, that can say anything to you. Take an example, when your girl comes back from school, I feel the onus lies on you
as a mother to find out everything. Everything, I mean everything that happened to the girl's house while she was in school. The kind of friends she related, what they discussed, what they told her, everything. We should be friends to them. If we are, it will help us to notice, to have the knowledge in case anyone is trying to harm them or let them, as the case may be. I think that will help. It will go the way. Thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you, Esther. Let me throw this question to our High Court Judge, Florence Fiberesima. Florence, let me ask you, what initiatives have been put in place to ensure that perpetrators are reprimanded and punished to the full extent of the law in your state, Rivers State?
Okay, thank you very much,
Yes, Florence.
Njideka. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on this platform. Let me say that when you talk about what laws are there, we generally in the state have criminal laws. And so within the criminal laws that we have certain offenses already described, and rape is one of them. Now, just like Uki mentioned, because I was listening to her, she talked about the child rights law. The child rights law also has, provisions for criminalizing sexual assaults on females, and also anybody who attempts or who sleeps with a child is regarded as an unlawful act, and it carries quite huge, punishment. For example, the one under the criminal code, which is rape, has a life imprisonment as the punishment. Now, if it is defilement, of course, it also has life imprisonment as a punishment. Now, beyond all of that, I would like to say that the issue of the law is not our major problem, if you ask me, because we have laws with which, perpetrators of these sexual offenses can be, tried. But, just like all of us have been commenting, there are other factors. Some of these factors are social factors, just like what we identified, which is victims feel ashamed, so they don't want to speak up. We also have other factors which could be institutional challenges in terms of maybe investigating and prosecuting. Uki mentioned one, and that's a major one. In fact, in my little note here, I put it down as one of the challenges to prosecuting such offenses. Now, that is family members of victims wanting the offense, wanting to withdraw the case, settling, collecting money, and not wanting the matters to go on. And so for me, for a group like this, I think one of the things we can do after all of this talk is to put in place some kind of sensitization, which we can do, within our own circles, whatever circles we belong to, so that we can encourage both mothers, fathers, to say, look, when this crime is committed, remember that if you are able to speak up about it, allow the law to take its course, you'll not only be protecting your child, you'll be protecting the next child so that another person won't be a victim. Because most of these perpetrators, after they get one person, they can go on to another person. So they need to be stopped. So for me, let's look at how we can sensitize our people to allow prosecution to take place. There's a major challenge in that regard. I think today, to be fair to our police, I know in the past, they had been a bit not too friendly with these issues. But if you ask me today, with the pronouncement of the General of Police, you will see that the police has taken the issue of rape very seriously. And with all the pressures that other female NGOs and various groups are placing on them, they are taking those issues seriously. So let's encourage victims to continue to speak up so that these matters can be investigated and then it can now go on to the courts. You may say it will take time, but it does happen that we do have convictions in the court, but it's a process. If we're not patient to follow the process, then we won't get to the point where we have, prosecutions. So that would be my intervention for now.
That's very true. But you know what, Florence? I've heard that the police in Nigeria, when a victim comes to report rape, that they mock the victim. You know
how the Nigerian attitude to things. Of course, these policemen are also, what would I say? They're also Nigerian. So you know how generally female issues are treated. So, but I think with pressure, I used to be a chairperson of FIDA in the past, and FIDA has continued to be active up till date. Now, one of the things that such pressure groups do when such reports are made is that they place pressure on the police to say, look, this matter has been reported to you. Whether you like it or not, you are committed by law to do whatever is required to bring this perpetrator to book. So we may not be able to help in terms of their attitude because they are police officers who don't have any control over what they do. But there's no doubt that some of these things happen. But I don't think that should deter us. That's the point I'm making. We shouldn't be deterred, because when you continue to place the pressure on them to insist that certain things be done, of course it will be done. I'm sure all of us heard of the story of a policeman who raped somebody, during this COVID period, and you must have heard how, he's been thoroughly dealt with and waiting to be prosecuted.
Wow.
So let's not get deterred by their poor attitude.
Yes. Okay, I have a few hands raised, but I just ask you to just give me a little time, because I want to get to Aminu Akadiri, who is he our human rights? Yes, he's the executive director of Federation of West Africa Chambers of Commerce. I just want to ask Mr. Akadiri, Aminu Akadiri, are you there? Aminu, unmute yourself so you can hear me. Aminu, raise your hand if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Aminu? Okay. Well, so I want to ask you, Aminu, do you think, being the president of the executive director of the Africa Chamber of Commerce, I know that you deal with Africans from all over, not just Nigeria. Is that correct? And that being the case, do you think that this problem is a cultural issue? Do you think that, for example, the child marriage, which sort of afflicts many people in Africa, do you think, Aminu Akadiri, that it is a cultural problem? And if child marriages are approved and appreciated in so many African communities, then raping a child, a 10-year-old, may not be so much of an issue. What do you say to that, Mr. Akadiri, Executive Director of the Africa Chamber of Commerce?
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to this platform, and I want to
Can you check your sound, please?
Madam,
can you check your sound quality, please?
And all the AWEBO members for inviting me to this platform. Also for Kewasi, now my position is, in my capacity of, hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Can you hear me?
Much better, much better. It's much better, Mr. Akadiri, go ahead.
Yeah, we're hearing you now. Did we lose him?
It's frozen. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Kadiri, while you work on your, are you there? While you work on your video, I had 2 hands up. I had Judith and Ogechi. Okay. Yeah. So Ogechi, what do you have to say? Unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to say something. I will be logging out in a few minutes, but I just wanted to thank you all for putting this together. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I am a president of a similar organization called AWEBO, which is the Association of Nigerian Women Entrepreneurs and Professionals here in Texas. This is a much needed platform because I know as women,
I think we have a sound problem. Can everyone please mute yourselves if you're not muted already? Ogechi, please continue.
Thank you. So I was saying that as women, you know, these kinds of platforms where we all speak with one voice concerning issues that confront our women and girls is very much needed. And, you know, I know that we have so many diverse ethnicities in Nigeria, but, you know, these issues concern all of us. They don't only impact a particular tribe or ethnicity, it impacts all of us. So we need to keep bringing it to the forefront. However, the challenge that I see, which one of the speakers, I believe Florence, you know, highlighted, kind of institutional gender-based bias in Nigeria. All right, so we have these crimes, you know, occurring in our communities, and law enforcement, which is the police, where we feel like, you know, when they get involved, you know, we get justice. They are part of the problem. All right, they either mock the victims, or they don't believe the victims, or they question the victims. What did you do to attract such offense? What did you? So the victim now becomes, you know, kind of like blamed for crimes that are committed against them. So we have a whole lot of work to do in this regard, but you know, chat groups like this, conversation like this, discussions like this will actually help us to unveil some of these issues and how we tackle them. So thank you so much, everyone. I will love to be involved in any future discussions, and if there are, you know, partnership opportunities for us to work together, I'm very much open to it. So I will send my information to you, Njideka, the moderator. We have a website, unwebusa.org. We're also registered as an NGO in Nigeria, and I'll give you all that information, and I look forward to partnering to, you know, to be able to work on these issues that confront our young people in Nigeria and beyond. Thank you.
Ogechi. I also have a hand up. Actually, her hand has been up for a while. Judith, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes.
I'm Judith Gideon. I'm the River State Coordinator for AWEBO. I want to buttress what Madam Florence said. You know, there's this aspect that we really, really need to work on, and that is making this act public. Public as in let it gain a public frown. We need to perpetuate it, as in really blow it up and let people know that, see, we are all frowning at this. So that if one is doing it in secret or by default, you know that the next person knows that they are all frowning at this. And how can we do that? We do that by so much publicity, advertisements. you know, speaking and really opening the frown, public frown on this matter. It's something that needs to really be blown up, so that it's not like in those days where if a cousin rapes another cousin or somehow it's all hidden. Everybody hides it. Nobody talks because they feel if you talk about it, no one will listen, or they feel there's a stigma. We need to like break off that cultural thing holding us not to speak up. So we need to talk about it publicly. We need to blow up advertisements, causing it to be like an open evil that if you do it, everybody like, haven't you been hearing, you know, don't you know the repercussion for doing this? The law will be after you. So we need to do that, because I think that is one thing that is really faulting, that publicity about the frown on this act. Once it has gained a reputation that even if you are hiding and let somebody just see you, it's going to blow up. Everybody will, you know, before you think about it, you think of, even if you're on the urge, you first of all think about the repercussion, that it's not going to be a secret, that people are going to frown it. You're not going to get away with it. So that public frown is really needed. And one way we can achieve it is by really associations. Everybody should just take a slot either by radio, by TV. Make it a frown. Everybody frowning at it. There's a frown. I'm frowning. Next person is frowning. Everybody's frowning. Oh, everybody will take dressing and know that this thing is really evil and should not be encouraged. And more so, I would also add that in the home front, you know, we talked about the women taking their place, but I also believe that the husbands too, the fathers, they also have their place. The fathers have their place. The fathers can give instructions to the girl, even to a family in their family meetings, times they come together. He talks and takes the mandate and like, come, listen, if anybody does this, speak up. Tell your mom, we are all frowning at this. Don't worry if it happens, or if you feel we are here for you, but make sure you speak up. If there's any sign, you know, fathers need to take up their place as a protector, as an authority. Once a child knows that, oh, see, my father is saying this, so if anybody tries this kind of thing, I'm going to tell my father, I'm going to tell my mother, and they will do something about it. So all hands on deck on this in order to really wipe it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. I understand. So you're saying that it should start at home as well, and not just the onus being on the mother, but also on the father. I appreciate that. We have a couple of people with their hands up. First, let me go to Smart. Mr. Smart, just unmute yourself, and then I'll go to Jovita and then Hamilton. Go ahead, Mr. Smart. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening here in Nigeria. Yes, my name is Stanley, Ambassador Stanley Obonna Ferdinand.
Okay. I have you.
Yeah, I own.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I almost got confused right now. I own Graceland Caring Hands Charitable Foundation. It's an NGO here, based in Nigeria. You see, when it comes to the topic of rape, I have two major problems right here. The first is majorly centered on the family, parenting. What am I talking about? In most cases, where you have issues of rape, where I have come into, where I've tried advocating into, I find out that when you cry out or you try to help the family, the parents have one major problem: social stigma. You hear the father begging you, please do not let people hear about this. You hear the mother saying, my family name will be dropped to the mother, something. I speak emphatically on one particular problem. A young girl ran to me and cried out that she's always been abused by her church pastor. Behold, I drove my car to the pastor's house. Asked the pastor, do you know so lady? He said, yes. What do I know about her? I was like, I know everything you do to this lady. And the pastor in my front called the girl's parents. The parents drove to where I and the pastor were. And behold, all I got to find out about this lady get some kind of, her parents get some kind of petty funding from the pastor. The pastor buys them a couple of things occasionally, rice and all whatnot. On that grounds, he often comes to the house and tells the parents, I want to take this girl out to somewhere. She should accompany me for evangelism. And at that point, she's been taken advantage of. She cries daily. When I chose to take it upon myself, the girl's parents were like, no, I shouldn't try that. Their family name and all whatnot. The members in church will laugh at them. At this point, where are you going to hold responsible?
Wow.
The girl is crying. She's heartbroken. She's dying. Her parents are leveraging on the little thing they get from the pastor. And at this point, the girl has no one to run to. Hence, she had to run to me. So we must let these parents know. We must start this thing majorly from our various homes. In most cases, these girls have been abused and the mothers are scared of letting the husbands know. Reason, if he knows, he'll be like, where was I when this happened? Hence, she conceals it, letting the victim get away free with this kind of thing. So we should sensitize our parents. Social stigma shouldn't be that problem. Rather, this girl's innocence, this girl's defilement, whoever did it should be dealt with. That's one case. Then poverty is a very serious problem. In most cases, these things are done. People like I and you come to fight for these victims, and before you know it, the perpetrator calls the police and tells them, let's settle out of police. And of course, he gives them one little stipend or the other. There's no amount of money that is given to any family that equals the defilement of a child, a girl child. No amount of money equals that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
A girl child?
Thank you.
Very much.
I have Ms. Jovita, the president, speak, and then Amino Akadiri, I believe your sound system is better. We'll hear you about child marriage and, you know, those kinds of things that exist in Africa. Jovita, go ahead, please.
Okay, Maya. I think that's almost what I wanted to say, because I wanted to come into the police aspect. That authority that is supposed to be the best place to report. Because the 6 weeks ago, there's an incident of a 6-year-old girl being raped by the landlord or the shop owner of the mom. They took it to the hospital and to the police station, only for the woman was all over the social media. The woman was crying that she came there the next day. They said they should come. They've let the man out. And the policeman was saying, come on, get her, carry her pikin, go. Where you did, pikin the waka. Carry him, go hospital. The woman was like, she wasn't even crying again for the persecution of the man that raped her child, but she didn't even have money to take the child to the hospital, and she was still bleeding. You know, these are one of the things that I saw like 6 weeks ago that made me, you know, that's why we are here. One of the reasons why we are here. And the police, like the justice said, and I'm happy things are being done, especially in Rivers State. Even for some time now, there's never been any case or the pictures or the videos all over the place emanating from Rivers State. And whatever they are doing or they've done so far that reduce the incidences that was like everyday occurrence. And I think this government is really on top of it, that they should continue with whatever it was. It used to be an every other day topic. So whatever they are doing that has been reducing it. Please, we want it to continue. And like the other person said, Mr. Stanley said, it should be a campaign. Judy said it should be a nationwide campaign. Because if from the activities that we are meant to do now is like a worldwide thing with United Nations Women that we are part of. So what we are saying is that everybody should be an advocate, an ambassador of exposing this ill. that's what I have to say for now. But before we continue, please, the moderator, I would want to personally introduce in the house Chief Mrs. Alaba Lawson. She's here, and she's not just talking about it and keeping quiet. She's done a big fight already that has gone to even the National Assembly. She's gotten everybody involved. She's my mentor, and most of us here, the mentor of so many women in Nigeria. She's not just operating from Yoruba land, or the West, that's all over Nigeria and even beyond Nigeria. She has taken women all over the world. So she's the reason why people like us are here, being aware today of what is going on. So I want her to throw her weight in this conference. So, you know, for us to reach a communique of what we are going to send out there to the authorities, because after this conference, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, topics or, you know, statements that we are going to have, that is, you know, the what we agreed on today, that we are going to send to the authorities from local to state to the federal government, that this is what we came out, the way we think that the government should help, you know, so that we can curtail and stop finally this evil. That's what I'm calling it. Please, I would like Chief Mrs. Alaba Lawson, the very first female president of NASIMA, that's National Association of Chamber of Commerce, for her to, this is her area, she's done a lot already. I would want her to come in here briefly to tell us, you know, a little bit of what she thinks. Then we continue with the rest of the people.
Okay, Chief Lawson, you have the floor. Chief Lawson, Alaba Lawson, are you there?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I think the microphone is bad. Okay, let's continue with.
Yes, please, let's have Mr. Akadiri, who was talking to us earlier.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam. And thank you, everybody.
Are being raised.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I think Chief Lawson came back on. Chief Lawson, just give us a minute. We'll come back to you. We have Aminu Akadiri speaking. Chief Lawson, you speak after Aminu Akadiri, please. Just hang on for me. Go ahead.
I will let my member talk before me, that because of her phone, so I will take the floor and say what I want to say about the question asked to me about children marriage. Yes, children marriage is not a good thing.
Yes.
But talking about sexual violence is not only with children, even women at 40, 45 can be raped by his own husband. So what we have to take together is to say no to the rape. The best way to say no to the rape is to emphasize the education. Talk about the education, because when you see the young people from 0 to 7 years, children are with their mommy. So the responsibility is to the mommy how to educate children, how to educate so that tomorrow won't be somebody who is used to rape people. In Yoruba, we used to say abiko. When they say abiko, that means that your mother train you. Somebody will say akoba. Yes, but he didn't understand. That means as a woman or man, we need to come together, train our people, and make sure that as soon as they are growing, they have in mind that raping is not good. So let us stay together, no to the rape. Madam Kelley?
Your sound is just a little bit muffled, but we'll take that for now. So I think what I heard you say is that child marriage is not an excuse for rape. Is that right?
Yes, it's not an excuse for rape.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. Chief Lawson, are you able to speak to us now? Chief Lawson, are you there? If not, I have Rita Gujo. Rita's hand is up. Rita, you want to talk now? What do you have to say? Unmute yourself, Rita. Okay, Rita.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Let me try to come on camera.
Okay.
Thank you very much for this conversation. We cannot say it enough. There's need for much more to be done when it comes to talking about rape and what we can do and what is not being done. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera.
I'm sorry to cut in here. Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Of course I will. I'm trying to see what's going on with my camera. I can't see anything.
Okay, but we are hearing you.
Okay, great. My name is Rita Ewujo. I'm a broadcast journalist and social justice advocate. Became an author recently. And I am also the president and founder of Onomese Foundation, a foundation registered here, the NGO registered in Nigeria to take a look at issues relating to women, inequality, including gender-based violence. And I'm very, very passionate about issues around female genital mutilation because I'm from Delta State, and despite all the English you hear, everything that is being said, these practices still happen in Delta State and most regions in Nigeria. Coming to the topic and what we're talking about, and I'm glad to be here with you today, Jovita. We met in Marrakesh, right? For the African Women Conference 2019. Now, I think one thing we need to lay emphasis on is naming and shaming. The fact that people feel they can actually commit these acts and get away with it is a big problem. States in Nigeria like Ekiti State are doing fantastic in that particular area. If you are caught, you're tried, and you are convicted, they have your picture in a billboard with your name there. This is a rapist.
Wow.
So everybody sees you are a rapist. They know you, they know your face. If you go to apply for a job, they can identify you and say, we cannot give you a job because you are, this person is a rapist, right? So that's very important. And I think that collaborations are needed for this to happen. I heard a sister talk earlier about the fact that there has to be a lot of publicity. I totally agree. And one more thing I want to lay emphasis on is the fact that when we start this kind of conversation, we unconsciously start talking about the way the victim dressed. It just comes up. You see us talking about, though it's not an excuse, but what are we botting? What is the 3-month-old baby wearing that was raped? The pamper, very sexy one, I guess. You know, you have babies being raped, being molested, young boys, young girls being raped. What were they wearing?
Shameful.
So look, we're talking about people who are sick. And that is why, based on that, I'm also going to come to the fact of us looking at how we raise our sons. How come every woman knows a rapist and every woman knows a woman who has been raped, but no man knows a rapist? Boys will not always be boys. Boys will be held accountable. We need to change that narrative and make them know that they're not entitled. We should raise boys who will become adults who know they don't have an entitlement to a woman, to a girl. If she says no, it starts from the home. The same way we say in the health sector, we can eradicate a particular health condition like the genotype, for instance, SS, if we can just marry right. We can also eradicate this if we raise better men. And yes, I agree we are women. We can talk about what role we should play, but we can never, ever de-emphasize the role of the man in this because they listen to themselves. If the guy code is, you talked about, don't mind that stupid girl. After I don't buy this one, buy that, we say she no agree for what? I force them, and they will laugh. So until we make men realize that is wrong, if you are the one man among four who says, no, guys, that's not acceptable, you just raped that girl. If you find one who is the voice of reason in a situation like that, they will know boys will not always be boys. It's not a guy code thing. It is wrong, it is not acceptable, and we need to loud it out. We cannot loud it enough. We can partner with NAPTIP. We have a lot of organizations we can partner with. I like the fact that we now have a sex offenders register. We are not using it enough, but I'm all for what is going on in Ekiti State, naming and shaming. In fact, we can contribute money and sponsor the billboard so that their pictures are there. Wow. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you very much. This is indeed a fantastic platform. I'm hoping that we're able to come up with, communiques that will see things happen, not just talk, that we actually see action being taken. Thank you very much.
Stand by. You are going to be part of that communique very soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No problem,
I think Yellow Day is back. I don't know, Yellow Day, are you there? We didn't hear you. We were trying to talk.
I am here. I am here, Jovita.
Yes, Mama.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mama, I can hear you.
Hello, Jovita. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mama, I can hear you now. Are you hearing me?
Okay, can I go on now?
Yes, Mama.
Okay, okay. Well, I want to thank you that you are doing very well on this raping issue.
Yes, Mama.
Raping now has taken a new dimension, and that is why we have to look into the ritual side of it, because very minor people are being raped now, even 6 months, 1 year, 3 years. So the ritual side of it, I want to talk about that we don't want it. Enough is enough. And I want to say, let's even go back to the mother's parenting. Mothers must ensure their children must not be off them, and they must monitor their children very well. When the children are good, they belong to mother. But when anything goes wrong, the father will say, yes, it is the mother. So we need mothers, because who sat and watched my infant head when sleeping on my cradle bed? And tears of sweet affection shed my mother. So we mothers must rise up to this. So I want to congratulate you and to say that we have to go a step further. You know that I am the global convener for women entrepreneurs and professionals development network. And our network has taken on this rape. And that is why I'm so happy that you two, you are propagating this in your own state as well, and to all the federation through this virtual Zooming. And so we need to go a step further by educating our youngest from the schools, that they must report anything. Anybody that touches you, whether your uncle, because those people that are even more raping these people are very close family friends. So that one too angle must be looked into. Educating even the mothers and the guardians of these children. We must educate them and make sure that they let them know what it means to be off the hook of their parents. The government too, they must have a commission, that they have to create a commission that will look critically into this issue of rape, so that the cases will be disposed of as quickly as possible. It won't keep on hanging on, and then they continue to postpone and adjourn. So this commission will now take them to be on the one to deal on the cases. We have taken the case to the Assembly, to the Senate, and also to the House of Representatives. And it's being looked into, And all these voices being raised by everyone must back it up. That we want capital punishment for rapists. Capital punishment. The organ that they have used must be sterilized so that they will not commit another one. In fact, in some other cases, they cut it off. They will need to have capital punishment because they have destroyed a life and they have destroyed the future of such person. Not only that, we must have rehabilitation. Rehabilitation of those that have even spoken out. We must not just leave them. Rehabilitation must take place. And with God, all things are possible. All hands must be on women so that they don't destroy our future. They are the future leaders of this great country. They must be taken care of. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Jovita, thumbs up for you. Well done. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Lawson. I have two hands up, and then I'm going to ask a question after that. I have Ijoma Mark Abil. Ijoma, unmute yourself, and then I have someone else, and it says Galaxy 10. Okay. All right. Ijoma, unmute yourself.
Always introduce yourself. It's important.
Ijoma, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
We hear you.
Hearing you.
Good morning, the lady from the US.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I am so excited, and I want to thank Miss Jovita Ireme so much for inviting me on this platform.
Yeah, well,
I've been on my own trying to see what I can do about this rape problem. Yeah. But my slogan has been, get the boy child right. This is because once the boy child is well groomed, and he knows what is right, and he knows what to do, he knows his morals, I don't think there will be rape. Even when the girl child on her own side tries to lure the boy child, he has that willpower to say, no, this is wrong. I can't do it. And when the family gets the boy child right in bringing him up, in upbringing, then the society at large will be very, very free of this pandemic. Yes, I'm borrowing the word pandemic because I think rape is now a pandemic.
Yep.
It showed itself so much during this period of lockdown. The idle ones were busy perpetrating the act. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that from the family unit, in as much as we teach the girls the moral, teach them how to go about in life, especially when it has to do with their sexual life, we shouldn't underrate the girls, the boys. I want to comment,
Losing you,
Ambassador Iloda said, I agree with her totally. Okay. In all she said about the boys and the shaming of these perpetrators.
Okay.
Okay. Hello.
Yes. Can you hear? Yes, we are hearing you.
We hear you.
Are you hearing me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In all, what I'm saying is that emphasis should be laid more on the male child, because that is where this cankerworm comes that from. If they are well trained, it will go a long way to curb this rape issue.
Okay.
And also about the stigmatization, yes, I support the person that spoke from Owora, I've missed her name, that we should laud it. We should make the campaign go viral so that parents will not be keeping quiet They should not be bought when their children are raped. They should talk out. They should forget about stigmatization and what the African culture says about it. It doesn't matter. They should talk to their child so that they will speak out. They should make it open. They shouldn't be ashamed to say it out when they are raped. So that this thing, when the other guy involved, the male partner involved, knows that he will be shamed too, there will be that restriction from doing the act. Thank you so much. I'm really, really happy. Thank you again, Jovita, for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. I have Ambassador Lord. I'll speak with you later, but I have Galaxy. Galaxy, unmute yourself and speak. Yes.
Okay. Good morning from here. I believe it's afternoon there in Nigeria. My name is Peter Azoji. I'm a social scientist, but I'm a supply chain expert, so I do consulting on the side. At some point, I was the chairman of Pengaston, so from the union side of things. First, I want to thank the organizers of this forum. It's more than timely because, like Madame said, it has become a pandemic. But some of the issues we're talking about here, and I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but it's just to say the approach to the issue of rape needs to be holistic. We can train the child, we can talk to the girls, we can, if we take them from different perspectives, they're not likely to yield a lot of results, because at every point in time, you will still have a gap in between. So somebody spoke about stigmatization, social stigmatization. Is in reality, I mean, people feel harassed, people feel that they are pressured not to speak. So we need to also try to see what do we do about dealing with this stigmatization, because whether we like it or not, is a reality. People by training, we know that man is a social being, and man has ego. Okay, so if we know that if I go out there and tell the world that my kid was raped, it does not remove the behavior, the reaction that I'm going to get from the public. So it's also speaking to ourselves, how we react when we find people in this situation. But more than that, I also want to say, first, I thank you for what you guys are doing. But I want to know, beyond this, separate actions or programs or initiatives that have been handled, you need to find a forum to come together as a body to be able to sponsor bills in the National Assembly that will help to create enabling laws. Because without laws, it's really very difficult to deal with issues like this. Because
but the laws are there. The laws are there according to our Judge Fiberesima. So I guess what we're lacking here is the enforcement.
Enforcement, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Very
Right.
good, yeah.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about. We need to find a way. Maybe the laws are also there. Maybe the laws are a little bit old-fashioned. So we need to now find, new ingenious ways, that people are using to perpetrate this evil, and therefore, target them.
Okay.
That's all I have to say at this point. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for your contribution. I have another hand up, Mr. Hamilton Wuzo, and then Ambassador Ilode. Mr. Hamilton, please.
Hello guys, good morning and good afternoon. My name is Hamilton Wuzo. I'm from India, Nigeria, and United States of America. I have walked past through 3 different cultures, seen how people behave and react to such situations. Like in India, child marriage was abolished in 1929. While as in Nigeria, it was abolished in 2003. So you see the time gap, there's like a long way to go. In India, You see a girl, you walk up to the girl, you say, hey baby, how you doing? Oh, I like you, this, that. What the girl is going to tell you is get lost, get out from me, don't talk to me. But you do the same in Nigeria. A girl will come, oh, hi, I'm fine. Oh. You offer the girl biscuit and chocolate, she's ready to sleep with you in the bed. I have experienced it. Because when I was young and I came to Nigeria for the first time in my life, I had nothing. I mean, I had no experience. I was just new. It was my uncle in the village that was asking me, hey, have you had sex before? I said, no, uncle, I've not had sex. So do you want to try it? I was like, uncle, are you serious? He said, yeah. You see that girl? We can, just give her biscuit and chocolate. She will come and sleep with you in the bed. The problem of rape in our society is, number one, poverty. Number two, it is how our parents react to our children or how our parents monitor us. I feel that in order to reduce this pandemic, parents should start policing their children. Like right now, all of us, we are on this platform. You'll have kids, you'll have sons, you'll have daughters, you'll have cousins, whatever. We are here talking to each other. Do you know what they're doing at your back? Probably at your back, they're there texting one guy. Say, hey, the guy is enticing them. Hey, what are you doing today? Do you want to come out? Let's go to Tantalizer or let's go to Mr. Biggs. The girl, I've not eaten since morning. No, why not? This guy wants to treat me out. Let me go. And there, she has gone. She has given herself away to be able to be raped by another man. Okay, now let's talk about policing. Yes, there's a case of rape. We go to police. The police, where has your daughter been? It's all about the approach. Me, when I was in Nigeria, I was attacked at Oshodi by all these street boys. Because I was working for TVC at the time. So when I went back to the office, I was like, hey guys, I was attacked by all these AWEBO. So I feel like going to the police. What they told was, what is the police going to do? Hamilton, you're just wasting your time. I'm like, leave that in, Joe. So if I had to listen to them and leave that in, Joe, that is how another person would have been attacked. But instead, I left those guys in the office and I went to the Oshodi police station. I say, hey guys, I was attacked on the bridge last evening by all those touts sitting on there. What are you guys doing? What are you guys seriously doing? After that, do you know what happened? The whole Oshodi bridge was filled with police for the next 6 months. Each time I pass through that bridge, I always see policemen from 5 to 7 guiding that place because it's rough. So for me, I feel it is all about approach, all about parenting, policing, and also we need to learn to embrace technology. Because with technology, we can find out what our sons or daughters or whoever is up to. How many of you guys check the phones of your children to find out what are they actually doing? Some of them will say, oh, mommy, I'm doing research. Oh, daddy, I'm studying. Oh, daddy, Some of them will say, oh, daddy, I'm going to Jyoti's house or Angela's house for sleepover. You will believe them. Oh, you will call their parents. You will speak to the girl herself. Oh, is she coming to your house for sleeping? You'll say, yes. But then the girl is going elsewhere to a man's house. So these are the issues that I feel that needs to kind of help curtail. We need to monitor what our ladies are doing. The guys, okay, fine. Let me come to the guys. Wow. Yes, guys are the cause of the rape. That's true. But then we all say we need to educate our boys. But then when our boys look at our fathers and see what our fathers are doing, and I'll find and justify that if my father can do this, why can't I?
Wow. Okay, Mr.
Yes.
Uzo. Yes, thank you so much. I hear that. You know, this conversation is just getting more and more interesting. There's just so much that we don't even know where to begin, where to stop. But what I've heard clearly is the fact that the awareness must be raised. That's important. The other thing that I've heard clearly is that parenting is a definite, because the mothers or the fathers, we all have to pay attention to what our children are doing. And now Mr. Wuzo brought about something that's really important too, and that is the role of technology. So I think that's fantastic. But I want to hear Ambassador Ilode, who has had her hand raised for quite some time. Go ahead, please.
Good morning and good evening to my mothers and leaders here.
Hello.
I'm very privileged to be in this meeting. The issue of rape is one that cannot be overemphasized. I've been a near rape victim, and that was when I was in school, when I think in 2010, when we had the amnesty program going in for militants. And then these guys were actually camped in the university environment. And so there was a period when they were not paid their usual monthly salary or something. So that period, they invaded the university, destroyed a whole lot of things, raped students. They did a whole lot that period. And then on my way back home with other female students, you know, from nowhere, a whole lot of these guys just came out, and each of them, you know, held each of us. And the one who held me already pulled his jeans, pulled his, he was ready to rape me. But it was just by the intervention of God. Somebody else now said, no, if it's this particular girl, he will not rape her, not because he knows me or he knew me, because it was actually one of them. And then he said, no, I will not allow you rape her. So while they were there arguing, another one came and took me out of the scene. That was how God saved me. So it's over how many years now, but it's so difficult to forget that scene. It's so difficult to forget that experience, the trauma. How much more those students who were raped? How much more? I had a whole lot of points to speak on here, but we've said a whole lot of them. So I'm just going to say that whatever committee that will be set up to implement the laws on this, that committee should not compromise. And that committee should please comprise of people who are passionate about this topic, not people who are double-minded, not people who will today see that, oh, it is not good to rape, and tomorrow by the time they bribe you, you want to compromise. I don't pray that we have such people in that committee or that body that will be in charge of implementing some of these laws. There's no excuse for rape. If I have never been raped before, but I cannot forget the experience I had with those guys, how much more those who were raped?
Wow.
Rape is a scar for life. It's a scar that no doctor can heal. No matter how you want to talk to a girl who has been raped, no matter what you want to say to her, no matter how you want. There was a particular student who left school. She never returned because of, you know, the rape case.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, she never returned back. Not one person raped her that day, not two persons, not three, not four guys raped her that day. And she was raped at the entrance of a major campus in the University of Port Harcourt. So what do you want to say to that lady? What do you want to say to her? What amount of money do you want to give to her to return back to school? So I want to plead with us that I'm excited about everything every one of us have said, but I want to really, really plead that the committee should not compromise. Please, let us not compromise. And the issue of, because most times when we talk about rape, the society wants to lay more blame on the women. She's not well brought up. The mother does not take care of her, or she was not well taken care of or whatever. Very close to me here, I've heard of a case where a man was consistently raping his own daughter. So who will she report to? And her mother never knew. Who will that girl report to? I like to take responsibilities for things. If everybody will take responsibility, then we'll not have to blame the next person when things go wrong. Let's learn to take responsibility. The man has a role to play. The woman has her own role to play. So thank you very much, and God bless the organizers. I am Ogbokuma Ilodipe, the youth coordinator for AWEBO and deputy coordinator for Port Harcourt Chamber of Commerce Youth. Thank you very much. God bless us all.
Thank you so much. That was just, you know, I'm heartbroken by your testimony. I really am. There's just so much for us to do. There's so much for us to do. But where does it start? It starts on this platform. I'm asking everyone to do what you can. Just like the Ambassador Ilode just said, whatever committee that you belong to, you need to speak out. And you need to make sure that these perpetrators are brought to book. And if the police are not doing what they're supposed to do, then let's call them out. So somebody else spoke about the billboard in Ekiti State. That is just absolutely phenomenal. We need to do that. There has to be a database that names sex offenders. And then there's also a problem of repeated sex offenders in Nigeria and Africa and the world. Repeated sex offenders. Why should they get away after one and they continue? That should never happen. But let me just ask this question, and anyone can answer. Just raise your hand up. How can we ensure that institutions of higher learning in Nigeria, as well as service providers, are able to respond in the right manner to victims that they encounter? What am I saying? In the universities, like this person that was just mentioned, who never came back, and it was done in the open by all these young men. What did the institution do? Where are the service providers? Where are our health workers when a victim of rape is brought to the hospital or brings herself to the hospital? What are they doing? Okay, so anyone can answer. Can these service providers, can they become mandated reporters? Because I believe, and the judge can also weigh in here, if police, service providers, health workers, educationists, if any of these people in institutions can be mandated reporters, then of course, if a victim is brought into the hospital, they are mandated to report to authorities. Is that something that can be done? Jovita, okay. Go ahead, Jovita.
Yeah, I'm not really going to answer that question exactly till after the judge. And the person I'm going to introduce now says, let them say something first. But let me add this. Not just, like you rightly said from the beginning, the issue we are discussing here is so sensitive and so rampant everywhere that is no longer just a River State thing, a Nigerian thing. It is
world.
A pandemic, like you called it. And we have in the house lots of people from South Africa, because we have a chapter in South Africa. We have people from the UK because we have a chapter in UK. Rosemary Kelley is there. And everybody will tell you that it's not a strange story to hear anywhere we are. And before I go ahead, I would like to introduce Mrs. Bo Hekula, President of Africa for African Women Empowerment, founder and chairperson of Women in Africa Arise from South Africa. She's just joined us from South Africa. I want, after the justice must have said something, I want Bo to come in and talk to us from South Africa, the universities there, the tertiary institutions, the primary schools, the secondary schools. What's going on here? And for the fact that this is a pandemic, let's, like we say, see how this thing from the family unit, to the smaller communities, to the larger societies, to the states, to the local governments, and to Nigeria and to Africa in general. So that let's have way in there from South Africa. Our chapter president coordinator will soon join. She just left to just attend to something. So let's take it holistically as a River State issue, a Nigerian issue, and an African issue, so that everybody will weigh in. Let's resolve 2, 3, 4, 5 points of what we can say that this is what we achieved here today. Like Rita, I call her Rita, I'm sorry, gave us that very salient point from Ekiti. And what Elodie is saying now is something, and even some of the things that Wuzo said, and everybody here. So we're going to harmonize it in a way I know that our moderator will handle it. So let's hear from the justice, and let's see where she's coming from the question you asked. I don't know whether she got it or you can repeat the question.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. I had the question, and what I would like to add there, that there is a possibility for us to have people who can report on such issues. I'll give you an example. I do know that in Rivers State, we have what we call the Ministry of Social Welfare. Now, the Ministry of Social Welfare has welfare officers in several places. In fact, 1 or 2 cases that I handled as FIDA chair was brought to my attention at the time by a social welfare officer whose responsibility it was to go around schools. And so in her interaction with the students, she got information of one of them whose father had been molesting for a very long time. And that was how that issue came up. We followed it up to the point where, the man was being prosecuted. Now, so there's a possibility that if you have institutions taking responsibility for what their mandates are, and they can send people, for example, the social welfare officer visits schools from time to time, establishing some rapport, with the students and, talks to them, they will open up, because these children, when they're in school, they are freer. They will open up maybe to their teacher or to a social welfare officer, or if you have also protocols in maybe hospitals, for example, that if someone presents with a particular kind of injury, then they are mandated as either health workers or medical doctors or whoever sees the person first to make a formal report to the social welfare officer. Because immediately you do that, the family can no longer cover it up.
Correct.
The state becomes aware of it. So the state will weigh in and say, okay, a crime has been reported to us. We would like to get to the bottom of this. We would like to know, you speak to the victim, and then begin to ask the necessary questions until you get to know who the perpetrator is. Now, in my personal experience, let me give a little introduction of where I'm coming from. I used to be Solicitor General of the state before I became a judge. So in the course of the work I do, I've always found out that it's important that, institutions have people who are committed to, maybe the mandate of that particular, either a ministry or a hospital or whatever. When you have such people, then it makes it easier to say when issues come up, they can always intervene and do, what is expected of them, and then a report can be made, so that people can get a reprieve that, oh, this is what is happening, in their case. Let me also, go on to something else which we're not yet concluded on it, but we're hoping that in Rivers State, perhaps we could have what we call a referral center for sexual offenses, for people who become victims of for sexual offenses, because the state already has what is called the Administration of Criminal Justice Council. So the council is currently looking at a situation where we can have an intersectoral
Your sound is muffled, George.
Now that way you have a pool, you have the social workers, you have the, maybe the prosecutors,
We didn't hear that last point. Could you repeat that last point?
You have different people, but get to that place and they can can't really give a lot of details about it. I'm so sorry. This is still it. We're hopeful that, so I'm saying that if we are able to get on this center to start operating, then the center can actually now pursue issues and deliver protocols to several places where people can easily get to the center and say, look, this is what has happened. Even if you're not personally involved, but you hear about it, you can give a report and then the officials of the center can follow up. So that's my intervention, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Jovita, you want to say something else before we have B. Hakula? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
We should go ahead. I was just hailing the justice from what she said.
Okay. Ms. B. Hakula from South Africa.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. My name is B. Hakula. I'm head of an organization called Women of Africa Arise. It's a forum for 39 AU member states. And I'm so pleased to be in this engagement tonight. And the issue of GBV is actually a scourge that's actually affecting the whole continent. And I think it needs to be addressed at two levels. The first level is our own children, the girl child and the boys. One, the awareness from our girls is very important, that it's actually taken at the education level at school and at home, so that they're aware that nobody can just touch them in any way. So that sexual education that is empowering is very important at an early age, because currently we're dealing with a rape of a 1-year-old. Imagine a 1-year-old thinks that this happens with their uncles, this happens with neighbors and all that, because the kids, they're not aware, that somebody will take the child and it's a broad daylight rape and nobody will even know. It's so fortunate that this young girl, the mother of this child, found the perpetrator and she actually killed. So we're actually busy with that. I've posted the petition that we have with that challenge, which I'm saying the legislation, that's why I'm saying, whilst there are laws, there are other legislation that is contrary to what the law says. In that regard, talk about human rights. So the right to life, this rapist is raping a child, and the mother, the young girl, had to spend a night in jail as a murderer, So these are the things that we deal with. So we partnered with a law firm, women's law firm. They're actually representing this girl. She's a student, she's got nothing, but she was saving her 1-year-old from a rapist. We also have another case of a granny who actually killed somebody who was raping her. So these are the things that, because now these people, they live with a trauma that they have to deal with in their life for a lifetime. They need counseling and all that because of the circumstances, they find themselves in jail, they find themselves as murderers. So the other level that I think it's important that we understand, because there is so many petitions, it's more like a fashion. But what is missing is action beyond the petition. It's good, well and good to have the petitions and hand them over, but there needs to be a deliberate program of action with powers that may. And I think in this regard, our women's ministries, they're actually failing us directly there, because these are the laws that we need to be reviewed on specific elements that are contrary to what we want to achieve. So lastly, as the women in the continent, we need to join hands. The time for us to work in isolation and that I run my own organization should be something of the past. And in that way, we can learn lessons from one another and replicate everything that is happening. I think we need to consciously think about these things. It's not about me at the helm. It's not about somebody else leading this organization. If we're working towards a common goal, we must be able to join hands and do something massive that will actually shake the whole world. The example of Black Lives Matter, it's an example that I can use at this point, which happened in America, but it took the whole world because they were committed. It was a compelling message that everybody had to listen. I think it's about time as women of Africa, we do the same globally as women, we join hands, but it has to start with us because we've also got cultural norms that also promotes the whole thing of abuse and undermining of women. So the forced marriages, that also that the woman has to be submissive. There's a lot that you can buy, you know, sex. It's not a relationship, you know. So these are the things that we need to deal with deliberately, and it starts with us and also educating the young men and the boys that we're raising. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You've heard it. This action is not just for one. It's for all of us. That's exactly what B. Hakula has said. It's not just Nigeria. It's not just Rivers State. It's everywhere, everywhere. We all need to put forces together. And one thing that I heard the judge say is that there's a resource center, because my next question will be, how are we assisting the victims? And I want the AWEBO president to speak about what they do to assist women who have become victims of rape and other crimes. Go ahead, Ms. Jovita.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jovita Chizobama Daireme, the National President and founder of AWEBO, Association of Women Entrepreneurs and Business Owners. So far, we've not really had directly a complaint from a victim directly, but we have some people that they have nieces, or even one that I just had 48 hours ago. Her own story was her nephew. Her nephew was defiled by a woman, a 7-year-old boy being defiled. When we're talking about rape here, I think it will be silent to chip in that boys, though it's not really rampant so far, the complaints are not much, but if we don't take care, being in a society where we have what they call, in quote, new normals and new narratives, and seeing that even as it is, you know, certain things are just that's few seconds away to becoming something that is normal. You know, we should not throw away totally that some boys are being molested as well by girls, by even older women. But since it's not the classical point of what we're handling today, but I want us to have it at the back of our mind. As we are protecting our girl child, we should be protecting our boy child when we are telling them that is a no-go area to do anything at any point in time pertaining sex of any type to a girl that says no. Let no be no, and that is no is no. So going back to that, we've been having indirect stories, but I don't want it to happen to anybody I know or one of my women, their children, or to be a direct victim before we started acting. That's why from the stories we are hearing and the videos and what we are seeing, we just said, let's join this fight to stop it before it comes very close to our own houses. And what I'm saying is that we are ready to partner with any other similar organization. We are partnering with the River State government if the justice is here, we are here with the blessing of Her Excellency, Dr. Epaleba Bani Buhari, and the First Lady of the state. So we are not doing anything because the charity begins at home. They are so passionate about this that we are ready in any way. They will give us any space and support to be part of the fight against rape in this state. We are not, we are in other states. From every other state we are, it is going to become a national fight. In any way, anybody can support, or we can support. Me and my women, we are very ready. And the youth wing of AWEBO is ready already. That's the Ambassador Ilodigwe is there. And already I have my full soldiers that they are Oloma Koma, Juliet, and they're all there. We are on standby in any way, any help, any support in any way. Anybody wants to partner with us, even make suggestions. Even what we're saying here is a big deal for us because we are going to put them together with our ambassador here, the moderator, that has done enough already putting this together today. We are just on standby in any way that we are going to help to make this thing not to fester further than it is already. We are ready to bring up the complaints. We are ready to take in the complaints. We are ready to bring in the victims, take them to the proper authorities, and at least I don't know, the justice here. That's Madam Fabrisima. Even without seeing me for the first time she met me, she's always made even everything very easy. When the First Lady of the state gave me her number to call, because I changed my phone, I didn't have her number. When I saw her picture and I said, is it not this woman that has never met me before? For the first time she saw me, when I was the coordinator, I was the first coordinator of NAWOG. That's by the women wing of NASIMA. NASIMA is the umbrella body of all the Chamber of Commerce in Nigeria. She gave me hall. She approved that the Justice Department of Rivers State, their big hall, she approved it to even an extension without knowing me. So she's been there already, helping women in business, and this is touchy enough. I know she's going to do better. The First Lady, as soon as I called her, she called me back. I told her about this. It was like, I'm in. Even if I wouldn't have any, I'm going to send in somebody, which she did. And at the end of the day, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, who is our matron, has been there. It was just calling Uki, and she was there. Only that she's busy. So I'm trying to say that we are ready to work, and River State government is there, passionate about this. So in any way that is possible to bring in support from anywhere, with the help of River State government and with the two wonderful women we have as our matrons and our grand matron, Her Excellency, we are open to hear any cases of victims of rape, because we are going to hand it over to the authorities of the state, which are very passionate and already working with us, because so that to bring justice to it, to the to bring justice and to put those people, heal them. That's even when we need psychologists and all the rest of them, whatever that needed to, because there's a psychological problem, there's a social stigma, there's a lot of things. So we are here to be, at the center of bringing every facet of succor that will help all the rape victims, which we pray should not happen again anyway. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Angela had wanted to say something. Angela, unmute yourself, Angela. You did have your hand raised at one point.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for another opportunity to speak up. I actually wanted to say something concerning the schools, because it might not be easy for social workers to walk into the school and work their ways into the hearts of the students to open up. But if we have institutions like guidance and counseling in various schools all over the country, you know, in our towns and villages, whom the children or any victim can walk up to and open up. Because these guidance and counseling counselors, they are psychologists. They will first of all worm their ways into the heart of the child and make the child to open up to them, and any other rape case, you know. But whereby such things are lacking, the child cannot open up to her parents at home, even the mother, and cannot open up to anyone, not even the teacher in school, then the child lives with the trauma, you know, and becomes a recluse. So if we need to work and achieve our aim, we begin from the home, educate our parents, especially mothers, because even these days, fathers rape their children. We have cases of fathers forcing their children, raping them, molesting them. So we really can't we really can't categorically rely on them. I'm sorry to say that, you know, but mothers should live up to their responsibilities, have a good and well-standing relationship with their children, not just their daughters, but their sons too, because male children could be victims. But if they have good relationship with their mothers, they can always open up to their mothers. Whereby that fails, the guidance and counselor in school can also do that job. Make the children open up to them, have good relationship with them, so that the child can be reoriented. There will be reorientation and rehabilitation also, because it will affect the child's academic performances if nothing is done about it, and on time too. Then aside the schools, the churches, the awareness should be created massively in the churches. We have from our villages to towns and our cities. Let our priests, our pastors, let them talk about it. Let them talk about it, let them preach it on their pulpits, and encourage parents also to open up to them in some cases, because pastors can do well in bringing succor to the children or to anybody, can be a man or a woman, before it goes bad. Because I know the psychological trauma. I may not have been a victim, but I've escaped rape severally. And just like I said, I have a close relative of mine who was also a near victim. But for the fact that I was there, I stepped in on time, because it affected the child's academic performances, her relationship with everyone, you know. So if we can create a wildfire awareness from our homes to towns and villages, even our town union meetings, we talk about it. The August meeting, we talk about it. Wherever men are and women are, in every sphere of life, let's talk about it. I was once, we also have it in our parastatals offices. I could remember when my boss wanted me to go into corporate prostitution so that he could increase my salary. So you see that the assault and the crime is highly overwhelming and cannot be overemphasized. So in whatever that is being done, Jovita, you can speak to the First Lady concerning including this in our school curriculum. Every school must have a guidance and counseling section whereby the children can go to the guidance and counselor and open up to them. If they cannot open up to their parents or any other persons. So that's another aspect that we can start so that the children will feel confident to talk to anybody. If they can speak to the guardians and counselor, having that confidence in them that they will be protected and that it might not happen again. There won't be a repeat performance. Then we can open up.
Okay.
Why? You know why?
Okay.
If we
Okay.
Okay, Angela.
I think, Angela, you've made a very salient point. So let's hold it there. I know that in our time we used to have guidance and counselor people. I don't know whether it's still existing. It will be the things we are going to put down there. If it is there, we'll find out whether they're still operating. If they're not operating, we'll suggest that they should put it back in full force. Thank you.
Thank you.
Exactly.
I have Mr. Hamilton, you want to ask a question, but you know, this conversation is just so apt. It's also timely, but at some point, we just have to get into action. So Ms. Jovita, I don't know if you might want to do a second session, because in in about 10 or 16 minutes, we will be rounding up and I want you to close us off. But let's hear Hamilton. And then I think the judge also wanted to say something again. And then Jovita, you close us off and tell us when.
Yeah, the judge will say something. The judge, the Ambassador Kadiri and Uki, they're going to give us the last word on behalf of the Her Excellency. And the Hamilton, you're going to say something for 30 seconds. Just wrap it up. Just give us the last statement for 30 seconds, please, so that we can close.
Okay, guys. I mean, number one, I completely agree with Angela. Schools need to have counselors that speak to the students, and also better guide them to properly how to behave. I don't know if sex education has been taught in schools, but then I believe that is something that also one needs to look into. And then another thing that that I want to say is that I mean, all the stories I've heard here is all heartwarming and heart touching. And I feel that something needs to be done, because right now, I'm so sorry, right now in Nigeria, the issue is rape. In India, the issue is, what's the issue? The issue is suicide. Suicide is the issue. Rape was the issue once upon a time in India. It's done. Now the issue is suicide. Very soon in Africa, the issue is also going to be suicide. So please, we need to put things in place in order to help curb the young minds, because the older we get in this world, the harder it gets. The harder it gets for the young ones. The harder it gets for the young ones, the more pressure it is on them. The more pressure it is on them, the harder it is for them to think. So that is why we need to have counselors in place in order to help them from this young age, nurture their minds. And also parents too. Stop beating your children, stop yelling at them, stop treating them aggressively, treat them as people that came out of your wombs as your children. Don't treat them like as strangers, because these are the things that affect your child as they grow up into adolescence or whatever, So it all starts from a young age. Please, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Judge February.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hamilton, you're going to drop your contact with me. Yeah, you're going to drop your contact with me. So the moderator, please go ahead.
Okay, Judge Fiberesima, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to start by saying a big thank you to Jovita for this very wonderful platform. We can never stop talking about the bad effects of rape on the society, on the victims, on in fact the psyche of every one of us, because you get so heartbroken and sometimes you even cry when you hear some of the heart-wrenching stories of what happens, to these victims, and for me, who has been personally involved in some of the cases, it's really heart-wrenching, I can tell you. But I wanted to also say something before we go. that the issue of a resource center, a referral center in Rivers State is still in the works. It's not like it's already in existence. I don't want us living here thinking that it's already done. We're still looking at how that works, because like I said, it's something that will involve several institutions, some government, some not government. So you've got to put it together properly before it can become something that government can accept as a policy. So we're still in the works with it, but I believe that in the near future it will be possible. So just like we've all been saying, we must not stop talking about these issues. Let us continue, and I want to thank my sister Angela for raising the issue of guidance and counselors in our schools. We need them. So Jovita, if there's anything that is going to get into your your outcome of today's meeting, it would be that this should be in place, whether it's a public school or a private school. We should have them because it helps. The one I talked about, the social worker was going there and acting as if she was the guidance and counselor person. So they were able to relate with her, but they didn't know she was just a social worker. So that was how they related with her, and she got into this issue of a man who kept raping his daughters, and he had to be stopped by the prosecution that went on. So these things are important. And let me also lend our voice to say we must also bring up our boys to encourage them, to teach them manners, to teach them self-control and respect for the woman. Because if we start on time to teach them, I think it really helps. It makes them grow up as gentlemen, and they won't want to get into the crime of rape. So on the whole, it's been a wonderful time, all together. And thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you very much,
I want to hear from Uki. Is Uki here still? Is Uki still here?
I think she's left. Let's hear from Ambassador Kadiri.
Yes, Ambassador, yes.
And Rosemary, are you there?
Hello, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Madam. I think that there is a law and regulation that support and guide any social agreement, even at United Nations or African Union, ECOWAS, even in the member states in Nigeria here, there is a law and a regulation. What I think we can do is to make this regulation available and train, educate everybody, even children, even adults, to know their right and their responsibility. Second thing is to have a psychological group that will take care of victims. And thirdly is the law give necessary way to receive victims and support them, even to sanction the rapists. So what we have to do is to make sure that we have all this regulation. We can get a handbook that we can distribute to our children everywhere. Let us together saying that we need to focus on information, sensitization of our children. That's what I can take away from what the lawyer just said now. We need to more sensitize our people. And there is a say in our region here that behind a responsible man, there is always a strong mother who educates her children. Let us educate our children. Let us make sure that our children from 0 to 7, we give them the good directive. Thank you very much, Madam Jovita, for inviting me here. Thank you to my mommy, Yano De Arabal, my only one mommy. Thank you and good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I have
thank you so much. Yeah, but please, Doc, please. I want the UK coordinator to just in 1 minute, let us know exactly maybe from that angle the experience and how what we can do. Please, Mrs. Rosemary, the chapter coordinator of the United Kingdom of AWEBO, can we hear you in 30 seconds or 1 minute? Wrap it up, let's see.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, I can't have my video on right now. I'm
No,
really
it doesn't
sorry.
matter. Go ahead.
What I'd like to say, it's been really lovely being here, and everybody has made lovely contributions. And I really hope everything is implemented, because it's good to we talk, and sometimes after talking, things are not implemented, and the people are not encouraged anymore. So I really hope and pray that there's proper implementation, and we can see results from everybody making an effort to come here tonight and just bare their hearts and talk about what can be done. So implementation, that's what I'm hoping would come out of it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then we have just
go ahead.
We have Olive, and then she's had her hand up, and then Jovita, you close us off. Is Olive there?
Okay.
Olive? Okay. She's not. Olive, are you there?
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Jovita.
Olive, okay, she's on.
Go ahead.
Olive, do you want to say something? Are you hearing us?
I don't think.
Okay, I think yeah. Okay, it's been a pleasure, I have to say. I thank everybody that made this conference a success from the bottom of my heart. I'm so pleased that it's not just me that is bothered about what's going on. You know, from little stories once in a while to weekly to daily, and just became an epidemic, a pandemic everywhere. And having this group of people, men and women of repute here, putting up the kind of discussion, and I would call it argument, emotional, which is, positive emotional, discourse here. It is so natural, I can see, coming from the heart. That's why we didn't want to assign any topic to anybody, because this is not something, it is not for just a study. It's something practical. It's something we see and hear every day. It doesn't happen to you, doesn't mean that once one girl is raped, every other girl has been raped. Once any woman is raped, it is just sent to every other woman. It's just a matter of time and place you are. That's why, because they don't care who you are. They don't care where you're coming from. They know it doesn't even have age limit anymore. A caregiver raped a 78-year-old woman in America last week. I don't know about the case was done, and the man has been jailed for 11 years. So that's the kind of, I think if such things are all brought to book, when it is reported to the police, they take it seriously without asking funny questions. You don't chop in money before, those kind of things. So, and I'm happy the justice, the River State government, they are doing something already. And all we need to do is, like Angela said, and every other contributor here said, let us be aware. Like Hamilton will tell you, is that it is our duty, because everything, like I told you, is from the family unit. Our families are serially breaking into pieces, which is where the social problem starts. Our family, you don't need to be wealthy to gather your family. You don't need to be very rich to gather your family. Please, let us do that. Hold our children, teach them from day one. If anybody touches your bum, tell mommy, tell daddy, tell auntie. Don't allow and sleeping over, taking children 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to sleep over to another family should stop. At least for now, it's no longer working. That's where most of the deadliest aspect of rape is coming from. So we really need to stop, or unless we are sure you are going to that sleepover with that child. For now, every parent should stop sleepover. I know what I'm saying. So thank you so much for coming here, and we'll have other issues, whether they part 2 or even general violence against gender violence, whether men or women, because this lockdown has made it so open that it's no longer women that suffer violence in the family and household, even men. So thank you, everybody, and answer me and answer us, AWEBO, Association of Women Entrepreneurs, the next time we call, because this kind of support you people gave is 50% has given us, the strength
to forge ahead and with the government of Rivers State doing something already, and any other person or organization or foundation that are ready to partner with us and make sure that we go to the most remote aspect of anybody or anywhere to make sure that these things don't continue. And if it happens, that girl child or even that boy will be given attention, at least to cope a little bit the psychological aspect of rape, which I know no woman has ever healed from it. And it destroys even boys the more. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. And I thank my moderator who is going to finally wrap it up so that we can go and do other things. Thank you so much. You will get the outcome, the communique, and what all we've said today to your mails. If you can drop your mails with us, we'll send you so that you will see your contribution, and we'll follow up that whatever support we get from the government, from local government to state government to the federal government, we will let you know so that you will know that your time and energy today didn't just go in vain. There's going to be actions. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. It's just been a very robust session. I'm sure you all agree with me. So there's just so much to do now. Action. We're calling to action. Let everyone pick up your boots. Just go to work. Go to work on this issue. Observe your children. Observe the students. Observe young women, young men. Find out what is really going on and do something about it. Become a mandated reporter. You have people that you can reach out to in places of authority that you can say, hey, I suspect this to be going on. Let them do their investigation. Let us have those guardian counselors in the schools. Let Ms. Uti and her team, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, First Lady of Rivers State, let them do more about this issue. Judge Fiberesima, we're waiting for that resource center because it's going to be highly needed. Let's stop victim shaming. Let us come out and curb this issue. I want to thank all of you again. AWEBO, it's been wonderful. There will be many sessions. In fact, there should be a follow-up to this after your communique. We want to hear from you again and from everybody. So this is it for now. I want to say, ta-ta.